He is actually the embodiment of a cosmic yes. He is the creator and remover of obstacles. Now, why remover of obstacles we can understand. Why creator of obstacles? Because Ganesha symbolizes ego at the threshold between unconscious, which is Parvati, and consciousness, Shiva. Lord Ganesha is invoked at the start of any venture to remove resistance and sanctify anything that we are doing. We pray to Lord Ganesha because before head was replaced by the elephant head, he represented our lower ego. And then we'll understand through the rest of the session how that happened. Welcome to Veda Vedanta session in understanding Lord Ganesha and meaning. So we will start with understanding Lord Ganesha as an archetype. He, as an archetype, he is the creator and remover of obstacles. Now, why remover of obstacles we can understand. Why creator of obstacles? Because Ganesha symbolizes, this energy symbolizes ego at the threshold between unconscious, which is Parvati, matter, and consciousness, Shiva. So Lord Ganesha is invoked at the start of any venture to remove resistance and sanctify anything that we are doing. He is actually the embodiment of a cosmic yes. When we say, cosmic yes to anything, when we want, we pray to Lord Ganesha because he helps us to transition from ignorance to wisdom, from ego consciousness to the soul consciousness, and from obstacles to clarity. And basically, this energy, Lord Ganesha, this archetype, is the embodiment of mastery over our lower self. Yes, we have two selves. A higher self, which is infinite and immortal, and a lower self, which is illusory. Now, why do we call it illusory and why is it lower? Because it is the mind-body complex that is it is limited by 5 conchukas, 5 limitations. The limitations of kala, time. The lower self has the limitation of time, kala. Kala, power, limitation of power. Avidya, limitation of knowledge. Raga, limitations of desires that limit us. And limitation, niyati, because of the desires, because of avidya, the cause of the law of cause and effect, karma. So because of these 5 things, kala, kala, avidya, raga, niyati, we have a lower self, limited self. And Lord Ganesha helps us to, before his head was replaced by the elephant head, he represented our lower ego. And then we'll understand through the rest of the session how that happened. So it's a deeply layered and nuanced psychological and spiritual meanings attached with this archetype. Let's first start with the origin. Many of you may know it, but let's just, quickly go through that. Ganesha was born out of Parvati's body's dirt without Lord Shiva's involvement. Now, what does that mean, dirt? Meaning Parvati represents Prakriti, our material self, our mind and body. And the ego is created out of our unconscious material self. It is not associated with initially with the supreme consciousness. So the awareness that I am this mind and body, that is the origin of our ego. As soon as the Atma is born, it gets limited and thinks I'm the mind and body, that is the lower self. Now, so what happens is when Lord Shiva comes, our ego doesn't recognize him and doesn't permit entry, which is called guarding the entrance. Lord Devi Parvati created Lord Ganesha out of her dirt and went to take a bath and put him in the entrance of her bathing place and said, don't let anybody in, because that is the creation of ego. That's how it happens. So this guarding the entrance is the delusion that I am the body, I am the mind, I'm the body-mind complex, not aware of our true self. So when Lord Shiva comes, naturally he doesn't recognize, he resists it, and Lord Shiva beheads him and replaces it with an elephant head. Now, this beheading is actually in Vedic rituals called Dvija, the Upanayan ceremony. When you go from your lower consciousness, lower ego to the higher ego, it is not killing, it is actually a symbolic dissolution of the lower ego. So, Lord Shiva restores him. He doesn't kill him, he just removes this ego, restores it with a elephant head, which stands for expanded awareness. So the child born from unconscious matter, body mind, which is Parvati, must go through an ego dissolution, which is called beheading, and be reborn through consciousness, which is Lord Shiva, with a higher perception, higher awareness. That is why the elephant head. Now, the form, I will not go into details. The whole social media is, rife with all the details, but we still will just quickly run through it, and we will save it for question and answer if anybody has more questions on that. The elephant head, the minute you think about Ganesha, it is the first thing that you notice is the elephant head, which symbolizes expanded awareness, memory, strength, and intelligence. 4 hands. He has 4 hands, represents 2 things. One is the 4 purusharthas, the 4 goals in Vedic philosophy, which is dharma, artha, kama, moksha. And also it represents the 4 faculties of mind, of intelligence, which is manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. Manas is thinking mind, buddhi is discriminating mind, chitta is the memory, and ahankara is the I-ness. So he has 4 hands. Now 4 hands, one is Abhaya Mudra, which is the fearlessness and protection. Now let's understand one thing. When we are reading about understanding the form, we are trying to looking at it as Lord Ganesha, but later on in the session we will bring it all to us, because knowing Lord Ganesha does these things is first level. We must be able to inculcate and imbibe these qualities inside us. So we have to inculcate and imbibe fearlessness, that we alone can protect ourselves. That is the Abhaya Mudra. Modak is a sweet meat, which has a heart, has a shell, and inside is the sweetness. So understanding that bliss is to be found within, not outside. So we all have to understand that. Then he has a pasha, like a noose, which is a restraint over our desire and pull us back inward when we go too far out. And then he has an axe, which is ankusha, or sometimes called a goad or an axe, to cut the detachment to the world of, the worldly attachments, the glamour and glitter of the world. So these are the 4 hands. Then he has large fan-like ears. Yes, one thing is that we should, and a very small mouth. So we must listen more. So why do we have to do all these things? If you want to transcend your lower ego and go towards your higher ego, have an expanded awareness, these things are necessary. Fearlessness, controlling your desires, knowing that bliss is inside, not outside. Big ears, listen more and talk less. But also it's not just big ears, it's shaped in like a winnowing fan, where in olden times they used to separate the grain from the chaff. So being very mindful of what we are listening and hearing, not letting unnecessary information, gossip, negative ideas enter our head. Then small eyes refers to or embodies very focused vision and introspective insight. If you want to see something far away in an art class, they'll tell you squint your eyes. So when you squint, when you want to see something that is not very obvious, that we need to squint our eyes. That says small eyes. The trunk. So trunk stands for discrimination, strength and flexibility. That trunk can actually pick up a needle and break the trunk of a big tree. So that ability to understand, grow, very nuanced and very complex ideas, and also very simple things your mind should be able to do. Broken tusk, because he started off with 2 tusks. In the middle, while Vyasa asked him to write the Mahabharata, there was no pen. These are all stories to create the context, He broke one tusk and started writing with it. Now, when you have 2 tusks, we have a spiritual identity and we have a material identity. The very fact that he broke one means he's focused on non-duality, Advaita. And so that is the broken tusk. Then large belly, huge belly. There are only two gods in the Hindu pantheon who have large bellies, Kubera and Ganesha. Everybody has a small belly because belly means the grappling with the material world. Now, Lord Ganesha's big belly, is large belly, is signifies his capacity to hold contradictions, not just the good things in life. Because once you're in the material world, you have to balance the good and bad experiences, and it also signifies joyful engagement with the world, but not without attachment, which is Kubera. Kubera runs after, seeks, and hoards wealth. Lord Ganesha doesn't do that. And then when you see him, he'll be always sitting with one leg on the ground, one leg tucked into his Muladhara chakra. So one leg in the ground means you are grounded in physical material reality, and one tucked in is always connected to the source, to your internal true self. Then there is a snake around his belly. That represents a snake in this context, in yogic tantric practice, represents Kundalini, primal energy, which lies coiled at the bottom at the Muladhara chakra. But Lord Ganesha is the presiding deity of the Muladhara. He gently allows this Kundalini energy to rise and move up only to the Manipura chakra, no further, because the minute you cross that Kundalini energy crosses Manipura, the material world dissolves, or rather doesn't hold that much importance. You're on to the spiritual world. So he gives boons and power and protection in the material world also. So that is the Kundalini energy, which is prepared, disciplined, and available. If necessary, it can go up, but it cannot be. He does it so that it is not premature and does not destabilize a seeker, which what happens when we take LSD, drugs, and other things. We can get a Kundalini rising, but it is destabilizing. Some people lose their mind. So Lord Ganesha knows that everybody is not ready for the upper chakras. Then comes the, okay, so this is a basic idea about his form. Now, one important thing we need to understand is the family relationships. We heard about Mother Parvati. She's a Prakriti, primal energy, and Lord Shiva, the pure consciousness, but he also has a sibling, a brother called Kartikeya, and as we all know, everybody who has siblings knows there's sibling rivalry, and even in the Deva world there was sibling rivalry, and the Devas wanted to know who is the better of the two, who is more intelligent, who is very established and accomplished. So the way they wanted to do is the test to find out who is more accomplished is who will go around the world faster and come back to Lord Shiva and Lord Goddess Parvati. While Lord Kartikeya, who is the general of the gods and is known for his speed and strategy, started going flying around the world, Lord Ganesha went around Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati and said, "This is my world." Now, what does that signify? What is that message it giving us? Because mastery, there are two paths to mastery. One is Ganesha's way, which is wisdom through inner realization. You don't have to go out. Just going within, you'll have all the answers, knowing which everything will be known. Or the Kartikeya way, which is wisdom acquired through external conquests or achievements. So both are there, both are complementary, but Lord Ganesha stands for going within. He has two wives, Riddhi and Siddhi. Riddhi is prosperity, Siddhi is spiritual power, accomplishment. So it tells us that unlike Kubera, he doesn't chase wealth, doesn't chase money, but with inner alignment, you don't have to chase wealth. It is a byproduct. The prosperity, abundance, and accomplishment will automatically come when you're aligned within. And the next thing that you will notice about Lord Ganesha, which children mostly, find very funny, is that every god has a vehicle. Vehicle meaning it is a message that they want to give, and how they can, through that, they can protect their devotees. And the Vahana for Lord Ganesha is a mouse, Musika. And the mouse represents desire, our vasanas. While it is very small, a desire at any given point seems very small, but relentless, and it can eat through an entire granary. So the restless mind, this mouse represents the restless mind, which darts everywhere and is constantly looking for gratification in the outside world. And Lord Ganesha riding the mouse means that he has mastered the desire. He uses only that which is necessary for his spiritual, for his and his devotees spiritual expansion. So mastery of desire is indicated by riding the mouse. Now, we will, like with every other god in the Hindu pantheon, their names are not just names, but talk about the different aspects of the divine personality and the function. So these are not mere titles, but actually condensed prayer. Each name, if you just meditate on one name and chant one name, will open the door to this deity or this archetype, this energy. So the first name is Ganapati or Ganesha. So Gana is like they are the people who serve or are around Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva accepts all the rejects of society. Those who cannot find acceptance anywhere find acceptance by Lord Shiva. And once Lord Shiva replaced his Ganesha's human head with the elephant head, he declared him that you are the Lord. Ganapati is Lord. Isha is Lord. So you are the Lord of the Ganas. Now, in our context, what does Ganas mean? What are the lower tendencies that he is mastering and controlling and guiding and protecting? Now, these are the lower tendencies are doubt, rejections, mistakes, failures, and criticisms. That is how these are the rejects. We are not comfortable showing our vulnerable side, our doubts to society, our rejection, our mistakes, our failures, and our criticism. We hide it. And Lord Ganesha can remove these things. Next comes Vigneshwara or Vignaharta. Now remember, in the beginning we said that he is the Lord of obstacles and he's also the remover of obstacles. Why is the Lord of obstacles? Because an unexpanded or cultivated mind and consciousness will create obstacles itself. So, and sometimes Lord Ganesha sends obstacles our way, not to punish us, not to make our life difficult, but as a teacher, because we learn so much from our challenges and obstacles. Without it, we would take things for granted. And of course, once we have the requisite growth and spiritual understanding, he also removes these obstacles. Ekadanta, which is one tusk, and we talked about it, where he focuses. Whenever you call him as Ekadanta, you are invoking his power for Advaita, for you to be able to go and understand the unity consciousness, experience unity consciousness. You are consciously moving away from the external world and going within. So meditating on Ekadanta will help you get there. Lambodara, we talked about it, big belly. That is it contains the entire material world, because the first three chakras, Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, is money, sex, and power. Physical body, emotional body, mental body. So it contains the whole body and the capacity to digest all dualities, good and bad experiences with equanimity. Then Gajanana, faced, elephant head, is a very powerful symbol. We talked about it, a symbol of great wisdom and memory and strength. Vinayaka is supreme leader. Nayaka is leader. Vinayaka is supreme leader, meaning one who has, without a master, there's nobody on top of him. So he is independent and has supreme authority. He is the master of his destiny and guides others towards their destiny. So there are some in the hierarchy of gods in the Hindu pantheon. There are, each energy has certain sphere of operation. For Lord Ganesha, he has complete omniscient, so omnipotent deity. Same with Mahaganapati, not just Ganapati, not just master of your lower qualities, but Mahaganapati, master of all lower qualities, lower energies in the world. And finally, a very famous popular name is Siddhi Vinayaka. Siddhi means accomplishments or spiritual power, and Vinayaka is the supreme leader. So is the bestower of success and the grantor of boons, ensuring that all our undertakings of his devotees are fulfilled. So we have to now bring, all this is wonderful, but we have to bring this into our experience. We have to now imitate Lord Ganesha's life story from his name and see how we can integrate this energy within us. So, Lord Ganesha is not just a deity, he's the awakened inner self guarding the gateway of transformation. So, we have to understand that if we want to start moving towards expanded awareness, then we must understand that we are born out of matter, Parvati. Our ego, the lower ego, the lower that I am the body and mind, is removed by truth, which is Lord Shiva. So we must be in quest of the truth. We are reborn with insight, elephant head. So we have to spend time, go through this ego dissolution, this dvija, born again. We have to set aside time to expand our awareness. So whether actually doing the ritual or setting aside time for expanding your awareness. We are born with insight, that is the elephant head. We ride our desires instead of being driven by it. So making consciously controlling your desires to a minimum, making sure that, because desires by the nature are insatiable. If you think that after this one desire or 10 desires I'm done, you'll never be caught up in that. So that axe is required, that pasha is required, and we carry powers of fearlessness, wisdom, discipline, which is restraint, pasha, and bliss, that modaka. The bliss is inside. Know that we have the power of fearlessness within, and all these powers within us. And we are equipped and accompanied by riddhi and siddhi. Siddhi is spiritual fulfillment, riddhi is worldly grace. So bringing that into constant awareness that what we're looking for outside is not there. He is, remember, one foot on the ground. We are in the world, but not of the world. One foot inside. So when you sit also with, one leg on top of the other, think that you are Ganesha, that I am in the world, but let me activate my higher intelligence and consciousness. So that is the names. Now, our rishis have given us many ways to connect with any particular god or deity or energy, because not everybody is intellectually oriented. They are bhakti oriented, with feeling, with love, with emotion. So the same idea. And I want to give you an example. So next time you listen to a bhajan, stop. Don't just listen to it in the background and just, repeat it without understanding what you're singing. So this bhajan beautifully summarizes Lord Ganesha's key attributes and compassionate nature. You can sing it if you want to, or just listen to it. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. So glory to Ganesha, glory to Ganesha, glory to Ganesha. Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva. When we say that, when we sing that, remind yourself that I have divine lineage. I am born, my body and mind is born out of Parvati. My consciousness is given to me or gifted to me by Lord Shiva. So nothing, where will the fearlessness come? Where will the inner bliss come? Knowing that I come of divine lineage. My mother is Parvati, my father is Shiva. एकदंत दयावंत चार भुजाधारी. Ekadanta, Advaita, there is only one truth, one energy. And the wise and the world call it by different names. There is only, remind yourself, there is only one energy. And when you understand there is only one energy, there is no two energy, because fear comes from duality. So once you know there is only one energy, then Dayavanta, you will all automatically operate out of compassion. Char Bhujadhari, four arms. And these four arms are, we have the mind, the intellect, the ego, and chitta, manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. We must utilize and activate all four of them. We mostly operate only at manas level. We are mostly unconscious about the other three. Sometimes we use the buddhi, but we don't do it consciously. And we don't know that the chitta, the memory cleansing, and the ego, that we need to work on those two also. Then माथे पे तिलक सोहे मूस की सवारी. Now, why the rishis for some people, they talk about the hair. For some people, they talk about some gods. They talk about the clothes, and for some, the ornaments. In Lord Ganesha's case, they chose to talk about mathe pe tilak. What is the big thing? This is the Agya Chakra. So this is the sign of an awakened consciousness, pure awakened consciousness. So working with your Agya Chakra, that means meditation is important. Closing your two physical eyes so that you can access your spiritual eye. माथे पे तिलक सोए, मूस की सवारी. What is musa? Desire, vasanas. If you savari, if you don't control your desires, you cannot access your Agya Chakra. So if you want to access your Agya Chakra is command. Agya is command. You can command your reality, but how? Only when you are not suppressed, control, guide the desires and vasanas. Then आंधन को आँख देते, अंधन को आँख देते, कोढ़िन को काया. You give eyes to the blind and healthy body to the lepers. The literal translation, nothing is literal, of course. अंधन को what is it called? आँख देते, मतलब spiritual side. So we must practice not just perceptual knowledge. What we see is what we believe. When we do that, we will be able to give that spiritual healing to others as well. And Koden ko Kaya is all bodily ailments and illnesses can be dissolved and healed when we are in touch with that source. When we are in touch with that that spiritual eye, when you go within through meditation, numerous examples where people have cured themselves of all kinds of diseases and illnesses. Then Banjan ko putra dete nirdhan ko maya. You give sons to or children to the barren woman and wealth to the poor. Now, literally, we can't say that we are going to give somebody the ability to conceive a child. No. Barren means a woman is creativity, Shakti, Prakriti. When we are not able to have a child, means we are having a creative block. So through meditation, downloads come. You will be surprised how much you can access, what kind of creativity, or anybody who's attended a proper workshop anywhere will realize you come back with buzzing with ideas. And Nirdhan ko Maya. Why Maya? Why not money? Because money is, this material thing is an illusion, and it is Mohini. You will be trapped in the material world, but that is necessary. When we are initially in the lower consciousness is very strong, then we need that Maya of money, of friends, of relatives, of power, of all those things. And he is very patient. He will not allow the ascent of the Kundalini quickly when you're not ready. Then हार चढ़े फूल चढ़े और चढ़े मेवा. Now, how do we get rid of this creative block and heal ourselves and heal others in our life? These are the methods. Har mane, it's a garland of flowers. That means understanding that everybody and everything is interconnected. If you do something wrong to somebody and you think you're going to become a Ganesha, ain't gonna happen. So know that is where the law of karma comes in, that what you sow is what you're going to reap. So that is the har. Phool chadhe. Phool signifies purity. Purify your mind, purify your intelligence with knowledge, with bhakti. And or chadhe meva. Meva is dry fruits. Dry fruits are the essence of the fruit, and they are the source, and it signifies, they don't have an expiry date. So meaning, connect with your that part of you that is infinite, that is not transient, the permanent part of you. When you connect with the permanent part of you, when you purify your body, your mind, your intellect, and when you understand that everybody and everything is interconnected, then you will access these powers. मोदक का भोग लगे संत करे सेवा. Sweet meat, modak, is offered and the saints serve you. Modak symbolizes the reward that you get after spiritual discipline, with spiritual discipline, because the sweetness is covered with a covering. So when you put in the spiritual effort, when you invest in your spiritual growth, you will get that, you will taste that internal bliss. And Sant kare seva. So in Lord Ganesha's case, all the pious people are serving him, but also one of the ways to taste that modak, to taste that inner bliss, is to serve noble people, rishis, and evolved souls, and ascended masters, and social people who are doing a loka sangra, a lot of help to the. If you serve them, and you will very quickly, very easily access that inner bliss. जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा. So this bhajan encapsulates the compassionate Vigna Harta who will give all these things, but we must also try to inculcate, imbibe, and integrate inside us. He will remove all obstacles and Siddhidata, bestower of success. So the Ganesha formula, let's recap this in a different way. The Ganesha formula for spiritual awakening, or awakening to your higher consciousness, your higher self. So when the snake of instinct is tamed and encircled, remember, he is the presiding deity of a Muladhara, the primal Kundalini energy. If it's lying there, all you think about is stability, security, stability, security. He gently guides it to Swadhisthana, creativity, joys, and then takes it to Manipura, power, determination, and control over your life. So when the snake of instinct is tamed and encircled, when the feet are both on the earth and inward turned, meaning you're grounded in the material world and also connected with the spiritual world through your spiritual practices. You have to balance the two. When desire is guided by discernment, musiki savari. Every time you have a desire, impulsively don't try to fulfill it. Don't feel resentful when your desires are not fulfilled. Take it as an opportunity. Is this really necessary? Is it taking me further away from my source or bringing me back to my source? Then, when the belly can digest life sweet and bitter alike, don't, this raga dvesha, don't push away things that you don't like and crave things that you like. Manage, try to have that, what should I say, that balance, and that to be able to accept both of them without craving and aversion. When the mind, desire, action, and purpose are harmonized, the four arms he has, your mind, your desire, your action, and purpose must be in alignment. Your mind must desire that which is your purpose. You're born for that, and your action must reflect that, that understanding. Then the Kundalini is ready to rise. Not before that, not through LSD, not through all kinds of medicines, that when you're not ready spiritually, then the Kundalini is ready to rise. And at that gateway is Lord Ganesha, the inner guide, our inner guide, who must be invoked first. And then he readies our container, this body and mind, he readies it. And before the ascent of a Kundalini, to ensure its smooth merger with Lord Shiva. So this is the formula, Lord Ganesha's formula for awakening, and how to become, recognizing first that we create our own obstacles, the Vigna Karta and or Vigneshwara and Vigna Harta. We alone can remove it. Nobody has the responsibility, nor the ability, nor the power to remove any of our obstacles. Because if the ego is the obstacle, that's why Lord Shiva had to remove that ego, that understanding with an awareness. So that is the understanding through, the archetype of Lord Ganesha.